for your direction. We ask for the Holy Spirit's help. We ask that you will cause our meeting to be fruitful. In Jesus' mighty name. Amen. All right, listen, before you sit down, today is my birthday. Woo! It's the shout it anyhow you want to shout. So I won't say I demand, so I humbly request that you celebrate me with the traditional happy birthday to you. All right, so please, what to go?
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, happy birthday. Happy birthday to you.
I trust you.
Please be seated. You don't answer that question in Nigeria. Do we? No. We're expecting a lot more people, but obviously either traffic or I would not say, okay, I would not say the Nigerian time. I would refrain from doing that because this is a meeting of thought leaders. So I refuse to believe that Nigerian time is perfect. Just a second. The journey so far. Do we need to put this? Find something else. All right. Okay. So this is DressUp. All right.
Okay, since the dress, you can continue the dress up.
I'm just introducing.
Let the ladies give you pancake to rub since you are dressing up.
Yeah, this is DressUp 5.0. Is what I wanted to say. Yes. All right. So this is DressUp 5.0. 5.0 means we started from 1, right? 1.0, 2.0, and today we are at 5.0. The journey so far is what the next slide I would like to play shortly. It's just to show you how we started. But before the slides come on, let me do the introduction myself. For a number of years, we've had these gatherings in Benin City. It all started from the concept of dress rehearsal. For those of us who know anything about theater arts, before these days, there's usually the final rehearsal called a dress rehearsal. A dress rehearsal means you will take on the costume of whatever role you finally play in the movie or in the drama, right? So if you were to become, or if you were to play the part of a doctor, you will actually wear your doctor's garment in the final rehearsal. All other rehearsals, you might just hold the script. For those of you who are into those kind of stuff, you might hold your scripts and read them. But the final rehearsal called dress rehearsal is actually costume. You costume. So the concept of dress up came from that theater arts. We looked at it like for every new year, before you go into that year, it's important to have that mental dress before the year, so that the doctor in that act, by virtue of putting on the doctor's costume, you begin to really feel like you are truly a doctor. It helps to act, it helps your performance. And so we said, before the year comes, it's important to dress rehearse, get ourselves prepared, so that when the year comes, we would be able to perform. All right, so the very first year it started was 2017, and it was just like, okay, you want to give me that stick, right? Okay, it was not. It was a meeting of speakers. I had speakers, myself included. We had a talk and listen kind of thing. But when it became 20, okay, thank you. So this was DressUp 1.0, where it all began. We had those people right there were the speakers. I had my friend, my twin, and these great men, we had to speak to people. And here are some of the clips of that. Right? That was DressUp 1.0. But when it became DressUp 2.0, the following year, in 2018, an idea struck me. I realized that I have personally somewhat followed the lives of quite a number of important personalities in Benin City, people who were doing great things in their various spheres. I realized that I knew some of these people either one-on-one or from afar off. And some of them also probably did not know each other that much. I felt like, okay, this year, let me bring these people in Benin City just like me. Everyone doing one or two things in their various space. Let me bring them together. Let's deliberate on this concept. And Benin City Thought Leaders Meetup was born. So DressUp took a different shift, unlike the first one where I had speakers and there were people listening to us. This meeting was unique. You can see some of the faces there are here. Again. So we had, sorry, stress. Yeah. Okay. So we had a very fruitful event. That was DressUp 2.0, the thought leader meetup. We brainstormed, like, it was exciting. It was exciting. And for some reason, what's going on? Okay. For some reason, we liked the idea. We liked the idea that it was us, me and the ladies, for DressUp 2.0. Is it a battery? Okay. That's me and the guys. Sorry? Yeah. Okay. Let me just. It's moving there. So anyway, we liked the concept of the thought leaders hangout. So we felt like, let's do this again. And so, okay, and so we did the DressUp 3.0 in 2019. Then DressUp 4.0 last year, and this is DressUp 5.0. Since 2018, which was the second edition, it became metamorphosed into what we have now, more like a thought leaders meetup. We began to do meetings where we come, we discuss important issues and take home ideas, meaningful ideas that we can work with. I must say that the DressUp, I don't know whether to use the word franchise. The DressUp conference has been fruitful. Partnerships have been born, relationships beyond this place. People have become business partners. This is DressUp 3.0. For some reason, I do not have all the pictures. Okay, this is DressUp 4.0 last year. That was the last edition of DressUp 4.0. Right? And so there is a history, in essence. That's what I just did this for. There's a history. We are coming from somewhere, and we are going somewhere. The idea is that with this caliber of people meeting every year, putting their minds together on a singular topic or issue, we'll come up with beautiful ideas, powerful ideas, more like a think tank. All right? And this is 5.0. We are here. And you are here. Put your hands together for yourself. Okay. All right. We want to change our path. We've been on Gen, so we'll change back to PhD. There's going to be a time for us to meet up with each other. Because some of us, we might know one another or each other. But the rest of us, you might have been hearing about someone, and for some reason, you never met the person one-on-one, face-to-face. Today is probably the day you will meet such people. You might just look around and say, "Oh, I know that guy, I know that lady. I've seen that person before. I've been watching the person's profile on social media. Hey, the person is probably beside you today, so there'll be time to meet, greet, and get to know the person more. Trust me, from these meetings, like I said, we've had fruitful relationships over the years. Businesses, transactions, and what have you. So let's get down to introducing ourselves very quickly. We'll take just a few seconds to do that. I'll start from my left. Introduce yourself in say 30 seconds, what you do, who you are, how 2021 has been for you, and what you're looking forward to in 2022. We may have to pass this to you. Why pass the mic? Why pass the mic? Okay. So, just 10 seconds. The reason for the mic is just right comfortable. No, you can sit down. You can sit down.
Good evening. My name is Tosan Pace. I'm pleased to meet everyone there.
Same here.
Okay, I'm a personal development coach and also I counsel young teenagers. So far so good. I was in Lagos for many years and in 2019 I relocated to Benin City. So I'm hoping to meet people people who do things like thought leaders like me, and I'm happy to be here. I came here through Nancy, she's one of the members in my group. And I thank God because 2019, though I'm not able to hold any physical meeting due to the demand of my job, but I've been able to achieve a lot online. And I'm here today because I want to get more ideas where I can go about things in Benin. Since I've not really been in Benin for many years. So I'm happy to meet all of you and I hope to learn more and get to know more around.
Let's go on to the next person.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Glad to be here. I'm creative mail. I'm content writer, parent, and I'm a student also, currently studying at university. I came through last week with my classmates and also my roommates. I would say 2021 has been a good one. I had fruitful relationships this year, and I had lots of I got to see life beyond the spec I've been seeing it for. And I'm hoping to learn more from DressUp, hoping to meet persons that can provoke, should I say, that thing in me that make me want to do more. And I know you're absolutely great to be. Thank you.
All right.
So it's like, just hang it on the check, so you don't have to float more. Okay.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
My name is Jim Rosaki. I am so glad I'm not to be honest. Like you already said, there's many top leaders at the time and they are getting tonight. So I am a purpose coach. I help young leaders understand what they are wired for and how to be their best. 2021 has been an amazing year from one level of experience to another, and that applies to it. And tonight, my goal is, like you already said, to scale something new from this toxic that happened. And so I'm so glad to meet everyone.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
That's my boss.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Benin City.
just want we just try to make most out of life and make most out of every opportunity that comes to you. Everything you want to do, it turned out better than anything better than actually anticipated. Thank you.
All right, thank you. You're welcome.
Good evening, everybody.
Good evening.
My name is Jeremy. That's about what I was saying. I'm really excited to be here because I was almost not here. But I don't think that I was supposed to be engaged in the program today. And for some reason, the program was shifted to next week. So
Hallelujah.
I was really excited. Why I was excited, I did not understand. When I announced that I the program, I was just like, are you? I said, no. I'm happy that everything's fine. Right. 2021. Okay, sorry. My name is Jeremy. I'm a brand consultant. 2021 has been a roller coaster year for me. Yeah, looking at that logo, that's very nostalgic for me because in 2021 I worked out with that partnership to start up a new one. Wow. Yes. And that's four years worth of work, 4 years worth of energy. But I'm still in the brand and communication space. But now in a new company, or starting up a new company called Oralworks. Actually, this is my partner, and 2021, or at the end of 2021, became so amazing because we have our first night as a holistic community.
Wow,
And we are excited because that's the beginning. We don't believe in having better yesterdays or better past. So we are beginning with government. I think at this time next year we should have the federal government
yes.
in our country as well. So that's where we're going.
That's why it's important we are part of this meeting. Thank you very much. Maybe we call it that way from if we call it.
No, it's not professional.
Okay, it's not okay.
Hello everyone, it's good to be here. I just saw my picture there. Just saw pretty young.
Okay, can I just make that was that slide please?
Young I do now. Okay, it was a product I got my ID. However, my name is something like this. I work fabrics, intonation, carry and fashion designer. So last year person was really intense. My friend and I we co-founded a storytelling startup. I'm doing it 4 years now.
Wow.
So, but after just the last year, it's because people decide to do it. So this year we have bigger people. We have a man and leader, the only thing is there is some TV, we have some more. So even as a fashion designer, for me this has been an exciting time to explore my abilities. Giving it to projects, starting to test this is something that is going to sound awesome. So for me, it has been a general creative learning experience. So I'm here today to build this capacity. Thank you very much. Thank you everyone.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Ricky. Ricky, I'm a profession, and I also make motivational videos like filmmaking to help people get better in what they do. And I'm also a facilitator to inspire who would provide trainings to support startups, individuals, and businesses to help them get more market share. It's a pleasure being here. I work with some persons. I work with Jeremy. I look forward to working with Wisdom Counseling. So we're trying to make videos together. I hope we'll be around for my next shoot, December 26th. It's always busy. Anytime it's supposed to be at the shoot, it's always somewhere doing something. Okay. So it's a pleasure here. This is my first hangout with DressUp. I know Jeremy once invited me one time for, I think the one that got that Sapler Road. I don't know if you can remember, but if you can, yeah, but I couldn't make it because something also came up. So it's a pleasure for me. I always look out for opportunities to network. However, I can just to meet people because I believe the contracts are contracts, and I believe with time we can always understand how we can share values together and support each other because that's the sole purpose of existence.
Let's close for you.
Yeah. Like that.
Good evening. My name is Collins. I work with rural lectures where we tutor students who are preparing for SSC and journalism. So last year I was sat on DressUp. I think last one my first edition. It was really thought-provoking one. It was really thought-provoking one. Last year was about stuff was shown on the screen person and when a lot of persons complaining about COVID-19 affected folks. Persons came and was about the good side of how the period has been. So it was really a thought-provoking one, and I also hope to expect that from this one too. I think this one is talking about station building and election period is coming. So I also thought expecting not also to focus as well to ensure that we have the nation that we all go to our. Thank you.
Okay, so good afternoon, everyone, or good evening, everyone. It's good to be here. Since people are in the business of saying I was here last year, let me also join. I think I've been here 4 years in a row, so I think I missed only the first edition. So I'm co-owner of the show now. Just kidding. So my name is Alex, and I'm just a regular guy. I came here to learn from these amazing people. That's all.
Okay, that's basically it. Alex is trying to be very humble. Alright, so let's get down to business. We familiarize ourselves. Please, and please. Oh, okay. Please, and please. We will, from now on, adhere to a few, should I call them rules now? As we go into the session proper, the goal is to have ideas we can work with. And I'm very passionate about our main focus, our point of focus this year, nation building. For some reason, it's something on my heart passionately. So please, as we contribute, we will appreciate if you can make it always punchy, not too much story. We want to shift all our ideas. My goal, here is the goal. In this very room, it looks like a small thing now. Maybe a few people, some probably on their way. But there's something I believe in. The power of rooms. Now, who knows what this is? What room is this? United Nations General Assembly. I think in New York. In this space, policies are formulated that affect nations of the world. Yes or yes? Yes. Chaired by the United Nations Secretary General, right? Now, there's power in this room the space, the heads that meet here. I'm painting a picture of what we are doing here, or what I see for DressUp in the future. It looks small. We've been doing it, I just showed you this for 5 years. I envision a time where governments will consult the heads. Did I hear that again? The heads that meet here. I'm looking forward to a time where not just that governments will consult this think tank that meets in these rooms, whatever room we choose, but more than that, the think tanks here would be major governmental influencers. That a time will come where we meet up like this. Today is Sunday, right? We meet up on a Sunday like this, and on Monday, policies begin to take effect, and it's on the news. Am I just dreaming too big or something? Here's the people that meet here are just about 190 something, I think, 193 people meet at the United Nations General Assembly. I think they currently have a session ongoing. The sessions are usually like a month or 2 months. And powerful people, powerful policies. When these people sneeze, all the policies in your countries, in our countries, we take dressing from them. All right. This other picture is the United Nations Security Council. It's like an arm too. They handle specifically security issues. The people here will sit. You see them. You see these men there. They sit and make deliberations. It doesn't matter what your government think. You take dressing from what these people decide, what they decide. Yes or yes. That's the vision I'm having. It looks small. That's what you know what that means? It means I believe in you, in myself. It means that I believe that we'll become the policy makers, as some of us are already. That's why it's a top leaders meeting. We are already handling spheres. We are already leading in several spheres. All right. One last room. Those of you who are sport lovers. This FIFA, whatever committee they call it. From this room, they decide all the policies that are, I think this is in Zurich, that our footballers, those in charge of it, they are head to. From this room. In essence, what am I saying? Do not underestimate the power of this room. Are we together? There is something about this room as we begin to deliberate. You are powerful. You are powerful as we begin to deliberate. So that's basically why I put this up, so that we can all know the power of what we are doing here. All right. So let's start. The deliberations have started properly. It's nation building. And I have one first question on my mind. The question is, Nigeria, what's your problem? Or what's the problem? The reason why I start this way is because if we do not address or fully identify, those of us who know the problem solving skills, if you don't properly identify the problem, we might talk off point. So let's start. The problem might not be what some of us think. That's why we are a collection of eggheads, top leaders. As we brainstorm here, our goal will be to identify our major problem or problems, because it can be hydra-headed or all you care. Insecurity, rising cost of living, all kinds of corruption, you name it. But the point is, where is the problem coming from? If we can identify it, then we'll begin to proffer solutions. And if we can do that in the next 1 minute, 1 hour, 1 hour, 15 minutes, I'm fine. Even if we do it in 45 minutes, that's why I said, please, let's talk fast, let's interact quickly, drop your ideas, drop your concepts, drop your thoughts, and we'll pass it around. All right, so what's the problem of Nigeria? Anyone? What's the problem of Nigeria? What's our major problem? You can just raise your hand, you don't have to go round. This mic thing there. God help us. All right. What's our problem? What's Nigeria's problem? You permit me to stand, right? Guys, please, let's stand. I don't know if this thing will if I stand.
Okay. I think that Nigeria's problem are Nigeria's people. We as Nigerians, we are the problem. We don't have outsiders in government, we have Nigerians in government. People who are headsmen and bandits are Nigerians. People who increase the prices of goods and services are Nigerians. Truth is, if you go on social media, you see comments from people. They are Nigerians. Nigerians' biggest problem are Nigerians. And Nigerians' problems will also be solved by Nigerians. No outsider will face Nigeria. Running away abroad still doesn't face Nigeria for you. Even if you succeed to leave, you still have people who are here. And whatever happens to them, in a way affects you. So truth be told, long story short, we are the problem, and we should start thinking the solutions for the problem that we can cause. Case in point, this current thing that is trending now about the death of this young boy in school. Those children that they say are involved are Nigerians. They grew up on the home. That same school, they had people who had noticed that the boy was still had roommates who kept quiet while the beating was going on. The hall masters and the other people did nothing. All the people involved, good, bad, ugly, they are Nigerians. They are not strangers. Nobody, there's no alien that came here to do whatever we are saying now. Fighting for our independence in 1960 was done by Nigerians. The corruption has started since that time. So basically, long story short, Nigerians' problem are Nigerians. And when Nigerians decide to start fixing themselves, just the same way Rwanda has done, then we'll see great changes. Because if we want to see how people can wake up and fix themselves, Rwanda is a case study that we can look at and see of the truth. When people decide to do what's right, they will have a better society for themselves.
All right. Nice one. Any other question? Yes. Somebody would have collated this for us, even though, like you see, it's recorded. Our submissions will be sent to us. We have a group. Those of us who are new will put in a group. However, if you can be collating now first, it's a collation of ideas. We will come up with something that will work. All right? Say amen now. That amen. Is it just me? Is it just me? Is it just funny me? I know it's funny enough. All right. Coach Alex has submitted some things. I'm sure we noted them. Yes, you got it. Yes.
Another point, taking a clue from what you have said, now that Nigerians are problems in Nigeria, another problem is there is this space for superior information. It's almost like people try to do things just for more. So there's a lack of superior information available. An average 13-year-old American girl child or boy child, their level of superior awareness in the environment, compare that to somebody here in Nigeria. I mean, and then we wonder how far what we do in our schools and all. So, lack of superior information. It's not just going to school. Lack of superior information available to everybody. So that's also like we have another problem happening in Nigeria right now.
So I call that ignorance. That be ignorance. Like
I think because as a traditional African society, we want to do things that our forefathers wrong. So there's no need to question anything. This is how we're doing it. Okay, it's the wise man thing. And all of that. So ignorance at the core, at the underlying, let's just say people ignorance.
Okay. All right. Who else wants to go? Who else? Where are going? Please, right? Tosan, you're taking stuff down, right?
Yes.
Please, I will consult you from time to time. For the sake of it.
Sorry, what's your name?
Blessing, yes. So, what two things do we have on ground now?
Okay, because Alex said Nigerian students and Nigerians.
Okay.
Why is a lack of superior information available to everybody?
Okay. All right, no problems. Nigeria, what's your problem? What's the real problem?
Yeah. I personally, I feel the problem of Nigeria, coupled with what other top leaders have contributed is greed. Looking at the state of our economy today, the money leaders and embedded within the past is enough to, solve a lot of problems. Now we are borrowing. So the problem of Nigeria is greed. One of the problems is greed. And I think it's even a major problem. The money that's supposed to go around, one person is keeping it in the tank or burying it somewhere for the 100th generation. So the problem of Nigeria is greed. There's no money, but people are having more than enough to last people to the 100th generation. And that's why our economy has gone this bad. So I think one of the major problems of Nigeria is greed, starting from the leaders and start getting deep into even those in the grassroots, those citizens, the ordinary citizens. Yeah, it's greed, though. It's a serious problem.
Great. Any other person, please? Very quick. Submissions are to the yes. Martin, please pass the mic for me. If we get the right problems, then we can find the solutions.
Okay, I will say one problem in Nigeria is we are not ready to try new things.
Okay.
We keep doing things the ancient way. We don't want to think outside the box. We know, okay, this is how we've been doing it from 1960. So let's continue this way. Using the education sector, for example, an average Nigerian student wants to be a medical doctor, wants to be a nurse, wants to be an engineer. That's the best profession. In same things like that in running for ages. Let's just continue that trend. Let's continue that path. Someone I know is currently doing his master's in the UK. And it was like, growing up in Nigeria, you have that mentality that the best profession you can have as a student is being a doctor, an engineer, or a nurse. But when he got to the UK for his master's, he saw things like aeronautics, this, what they call it, aeronautics engineering. And he was like, what's that? You can't see new things. So I think one problem with Nigeria is we are too patient and thinking. Just want to do it the way it has been done. Thank you.
All right. Okay, we are getting to root of problems. Okay. Ricky wants to say something. If we don't identify our problems, we'll be hitting the mark. Let's identify them. Thank you very much for your submissions so far. I'm sure we are taking down. We're taking down.
The question we should ask is who makes up Nigeria? And Nigeria is made up of me, you, and everyone seated here. So Nigeria wants to change itself. And if we are to create change starts with us. And I also believe that change it should be strategic, and anything strategic normally, even in business, happens long term, happens over time, doesn't happen once. And the question is, what are you doing differently to effect change in your neighborhood, your environment? What do people think about you when they see you? How do they see you? What's your ethics? What's your morals? What's the value you have? Is it good? Is it bad? There's a whole lot wrong with Nigeria. Studies have shown that one of the most part of our problem is religion. Aside the fact that Fela made us aware of this in his music, part of our problem is religion. Another is tribe. Another is favoritism. Another is nepotism. And what Wisdom said earlier on about Rwanda, and what Rwanda successfully did, if you look at the history of Rwanda, was they actually decided to stick to one language, because the tribal wars that we have were because they had different languages. One of our problems that we have today is in terms of tribes, because we have so many tribes. We have the major tribes we know of is Yoruba, Hausa, and Igbo, and there's a whole lot. So if you bring a bad person to a good environment, the bad person becomes good. If you take a good person to a bad environment, that good person becomes bad. Now, who is in charge of that environment? The leader, I guess. But what defines a leader? A leader is someone who can influence change. Yeah? But if you come to think of it, do we really have leaders or people who are coming into power for selfish reasons? Like I said earlier on, change does not start with those at the top, it starts with us. So we all have to do our own input to make sure that we protect this. That's all.
All right, thank you very much. Let's do a few more problems, then let's start seeing solutions. Anyone still saying that we have not, maybe the problem in your mind is something we have to touch. Is anybody trying to submit something else? Okay.
Yes. My name is President. I think the problem we are facing in Nigeria, it's not peculiar to Nigeria, it's peculiar to black race. In development, if you read the Bible, in the time of Jesus, the Europeans were already developed in the time of Jesus. They had how to develop a system. There was a Caesar. The Caesar already had his picture inscribed on a coin. When Jesus Christ was arrested, he was taken to a court called the Sanhedrin. There was already a court with 72 judges, well organized in Jesus' time. Jesus Christ wore sandals. In his time, they were civilized. They are far more civilized than the modern Nigeria. Europeans came to Africa just 500 years ago, and Africans were still running small estates, villages. We couldn't build 3-story buildings in 6,000 years of history because we are still a tribal settlement. Whereas if you go to England, you're going to see to France, you see a Tower of Pisa in France. It's 11 stories. It was built 700 years ago. You go to Italy, you are going to see the Colosseum. It was built 70, 80 in time of Jesus Christ. You can see 25,000 people. Architectural masterpiece. My point is this: the black race has not developed the ability to build large systems and run it. So when the colonialists came to colonize Nigeria, they amalgamated these small tribal settlements. People who could not even run their small villages. We now amalgamated a big system called a country like Nigeria. Many 400 languages, 256 ethnic groups, people who do not even know how to manage a small area. You put them into a nation. It's like taking a person from a village to go and run a Fortune 500 company. So the black man, the average Nigerian, has not developed how to run a system, a mega system like a country. The problem is ignorance. The typical black man is an ignorant person compared to the average white man. And so we have not developed the ability to run mega systems, but we are making progress. In just 100 years, churches run by black people have been able to run systems, run a church with 50,000 branches worldwide. It takes a lot of intellect and organization to run a mega institution like a church. So Christ Embassy is moving that. Winners is doing that. Dangote, for the first time in the black history, is able to run a company worth over $30 billion and is pushing it to the West. So that's another black man there. But these things are common in the West. They've been running thousands of systems for many years. So in business, Dangote and some people are doing it. In the ministry, Pastor Chris, Oyedipo, and others are doing it. In music, all these other people, the small boys are doing it. If you see the pattern, there's only one aspect we have not been able to do it: governance. So we need a powerful leader like that, a powerful leader that can galvanize the whole country to think of all our problems from a systems perspective. Because the truth is this: to solve a national problem that we have, it's like you're trying to solve HIV using penicillin. The problem of Nigeria is AIDS already. And if you want to solve AIDS, AIDS has so many symptoms. You don't solve it by using cough drug or anything. You need a reset button. When your computer freezes sometimes, you need to reset it. When you reset it, it starts a basic frame. That reset button is leadership. Everything we are going to achieve in this country requires one man, a person who is developed in the mind, who can run mega systems, who will become our president. And instead of looking at our problems from small things, looks at it from a bigger system. It took one man to develop China. It took one man to develop Russia. It took one man to develop Singapore. It will take one intelligent man to pull Nigeria together and get us out of the tribal problems we have and look at it from a national perspective.
All right, thank you very much. A mouthful is said there. However, before I go to the next question, a thought came to my mind as he was speaking. I thought they said that when the white man came, Benin Kingdom was established. I was told that we had street lights, sir. I don't know whether that was not development enough. Trying to, you mentioned, they said we had street lights in that time. Yes. Just a thought. So, but I know this, you are saying we still didn't have it. Yeah. But the history of our Benin Kingdom, case in point, Benin Kingdom, there might have been many others, maybe Tanzania, other countries we don't know, but just speaking of the one we know, Benin Kingdom. They said we were that developed that even our arts, our ivory and all that. I'm thinking, was that development enough? Okay, just a thought, yeah, just a thought. I just wanted, as we are speaking, that just came to mind. But your point is noted. There's something the black man's brain has not caught up yet, or it's just a system. It's just beginning to catch up. All right, noted. So are you noting this?
Yeah.
Okay. So we will take a few more. Please, if it's not something, you only speak if it's not something that somebody has said, a problem that we have identified.
Okay, it's more like it's not separate things.
Okay, please go ahead.
I was talking about government and the system as well. Okay, system. You see, I believe the problem of Nigeria is the government because these Nigerians who see they are this, that, they will go to America and abide by the law in America. If you go to America and the Nigerian like this to America, and you see this, and you tell this Nigerian not to put anything on this law, this Nigerian will believe. The same Nigeria, but in different color. When he was in Nigeria, the system will not work. So he could not abide by the system. But when he goes to UK or US, if he defaults a law, he will pay. If he defaults a law, he will pay. So that's to tell you that the system first in Nigeria, to the extent that they make it so corrupt that first, if you want to go into politics, the money you will spend first, just keep up. If you want to buy governorship candidates ticket right now, I think it's around 10 million thereabouts. So that's for those governorship tickets. What about buying a presidential ticket? So to the extent your mind is there's so corrupted the system that if you get to that seat, it's not you're not after changing the system because it's more like you call it a pyrrhic victory. You have been beating it out. So when you eventually get to the peak, your mind, even if you had development agenda in the face, everything has been washed off because you are just at recovering all you have spent. Okay, you are at recovering all you have spent for the election, for buying of tickets and all. So this is built in a way that it enhances corruption. It's just strategized that it enhances corruption. That when you get there, just forget. You will not tell someone that spent close to 10 million naira, that's the ticket, and the money will share the election. You not tell someone like that when you get to the top, you see people are hungry. Ukraine that is first of all trying to recover his money that he spends in the system. So they have so built the system to that extent that the system is corrupt. When you get there, it's hard. So, like he said, the first thing that we need is somebody that will get to the top and will strategize the system. It's more like changing the whole system because we will just keep saying that the system is corrupt.
Okay. Yes, please.
I think I walked out of this already here, but I think from what I've been hearing, we are really particular about one person, somebody who, and I will say categorically here and anywhere, no one person can change any system. We need a people to change any system. Now I can give you facts and figures, but let's use one person as a very valid case. Our very own brother, Professor Simonjo in Asoro. How many of us realize that there was a 2-week window when President Buhari was not in power and he took over? How many of us felt the shift that 2 weeks? I felt the shift here. That someone different is there. Now, that's one man. The reason why that shift was possible was not because he was in charge, it was because he had a team that had the same mind. If we bring like just like saying a lion led by sheep, or rather a flock of sheep led by a lion, and the reverse. The idea is this: we don't need one man, we need a people. If we keep saying one man, we have 1,001 men scattered around. How can we bring these one men to the same point to say, okay, let's drive this thing? Similar situation happened in in a county, I think in England, and a church decided to change the government. Now, they knew that one person in the church cannot change the government. I mean, their local government, right? Just like how LG is here. The entire church decided to join one of the political parties. One. The church joined one. The entire church joined one. The entire church flipped the election. So imagine if one guy that was really interested in nation building and politics joined. Would that flip that possible? No. Right? So I'm saying, let's begin from a cultural standpoint. We all come together to say, okay, what is our collective future? Where are we seeing ourselves in the next 5, 6, 7 years? Who are the guys who are really interested in leadership and nation building and all that? Okay, let's identify them. Not identify the person, the people. Then, okay, we just talked about institutions that have become systems, the churches, right? Okay, for example, this guy is in one random church, you don't know the name, but what, he's a Christian. That's all that needs to be done. That's all that I need to know, not his church denomination, right? Okay, is it possible for the Christians to back up this one person? Understanding that we're not sending one person there, but we are sending a team. Because when this one person goes, we are backing up another guy that is going to the House of Reps, backing up another guy that is going to the Senate, we're backing up another guy that is handling his own ward, another guy that is handling, right, another position. Guys that are sound. So we are looking for guys who will president. We forget that the presidency is run by the House. So we have one president and 300 and something people that are not even on the same page with him. There is no way he will succeed. Now let's flip it. Let's have 300 guys in the House that are sensible. Whoever the president is up there will tilt to whatever they decide. What we have now is too much power at the top. Because down the line, and the same amount of them. Okay, right? So I think let's begin to look at it from the point of view of raising a people, not hoping for a person. That's mine.
Right. Guys, we have. I was counting on the fact that this place will be very chill. So for some reason we need chill the waters, the bottom. So you might find that it's a little more kind of. Part of us, we'll see what we can do to the rest of us shortly. All right. We are bringing thoughts on thoughts. So these things are not premeditated. As the thoughts keep flowing, thoughts will climb on thoughts. And if we see that we can latch on one and say, let's keep building on this one. However, it's zigzag. But the point is, we must build thoughts. We must live here with solutions. And we must not think that this one person, system, whichever one we decide, they are in this room. They are in this room, sir. Whatever person or systems, however we choose, I would wager that they will come from this room. They are already in this room and they will continue to be. For those of us who came late, we talked about the power of rooms. There are rooms, and this room is going to be one of them. Now, I want to peg from this place. We seem to have a little branch. Some of us have been speaking about individuals, but he came with systems. I thought you also mentioned systems. Now, but this systems are made of people now. The systems are made of people. So let's say we're looking for a system of 12. Jesus, for instance, took 12. What if we could not find 12? And somehow it still goes back to, as much as we are talking about systems, but I think it still goes back to individuals, in a sense, because 12 individuals make up a system of disciples that will later change the world. So if I'm looking for people to make that system, but I'm trying to count, I count to 5, I want to say 5. There's no 6, no 7. So I think it still boils down to the death of individual correct people. Am I wrong? This game is still, in my opinion, it's still a game of people, but first the individual. For instance, this meeting is a meeting of thought leaders. If you were not thought leaders, you probably would not be here. So what if I did not have all of you? And I kept calling and they were like, God, I'm not be thought leader, you have the wrong number. We will not meet here. So I don't know if you get what I'm saying. I'm thinking we are pushing into systems, but the system is made up of first individuals who have chosen to play system in the system, not like individual champions. So I will add this to all the problems we can identify. From my contribution, I still think the problem is an individual thing. Because no matter who will pick, I'll get to it. No matter who will pick, even if we complain that we're looking for one man, it's the case of if I have a basket of rotten eggs and I pick one randomly, will I still pick it? It will still be a rotten egg. No matter the leaders will pick come from this same basket of rotten eggs. So it's all about me first. If I'm good, you are good, we are all good. So we will look for those leaders and we'll easily pick them. Here's one problem I found. Or let me say 2 or 3. Let me just go quickly. 1, we have refused to question the status quo. The average Nigerian is docile. I've seen it at all levels. The average Nigerian cannot, okay, apologies. Some people in the house and those watching us online may be from the, what do you call that generation again? NSAS guys. Sorosoke generation. Hopefully they are proving us wrong. That they are beginning to question the status quo. But I still maintain that Nigerians, we don't question the status quo. We are not yet questioning. How many of us have gone to authorities and you are asking that this thing is not working the way it ought to be? How many of you have entered a bank and maybe the ATMs are not paying and you're like, excuse me, can I ask to see the manager? Manager, why are these ATMs not paying? Good one. These are the kind of things that I helped somebody to write to the EFCC a few weeks ago. What was I writing about? Recently we had the NIN thing, the NIN exercise. We noticed that people have been collecting monies illegally. You probably do this NIN thing, they will ask you somehow, by hook or by hook, you have to pack the money. And so I met one brilliant elderly man and we decided to do something about it. We said we will write, so we wrote. Yes, they go and bring a document and we wrote. He's still following it. But I'm saying that is one case in very many. We sit down complaining and we don't challenge anybody. I stand to be corrected. We are docile. First and foremost, our problem is we are docile. But out of this meeting, we'll start asking questions. My problem is ask. It's not be quarrel of that. Why are you throwing this thing? Is this supposed to be? How many of us have challenged anybody like that? It's a culture we will leave this room with. We will not be quarrel. We'll just see you and say, okay, ATM is supposed to be paid. Why is it not paid? You're not quarrel. But at least the people will know that, okay, there's a generation waking up. There's a generation that is beginning to ask the right questions. Not be quarrel. This, I paid so and so bill for my leper or power. Why are you giving? Why are you not just ask the person? Why are you not doing the correct thing? I'm not quarrel. Why are you not doing the correct thing? Let's start from that. Second one, responsibilities are a problem. It's still time. I learned about the story recently. A woman took her child from out of a, what do you call that thing? Daycare. She said they were treating them very poorly. She probably met them doing bad stuff, maybe giving the children something they're not supposed to take. I forget what they were saying, right? They were putting them under showers and all that. She now got so angry and she took, I'm going to come to this thing. This is the same thing, my namesake, Sylvester. Okay, so she took her word off the school and did nothing about it. She just took her own child away from the school, right? From the story, I don't know that she did any other thing aside taking her child off. 1 month later, police comes to her house and they're making some investigation. She finds out that the reason they are coming to see her is because a child died in that crèche or wherever. So probably they had to do some roll call. Why did you take your child out? Just a month before and all that. My question is, did she report to anybody aside taking your child? Did she go to the authorities? Did she question them? Did she say, I'm going to report to so and so? Do we even have those authorities in the first place? So I'm saying two things. We're docile, we're not asking questions, we're not challenging the status quo, we're not taking responsibility enough. These two things I've said, I don't know if they have to do with systems. They have to do with me. They have to do with me as a person now. So if I am like this way, and I see 7, 8, 10 people like that, then we can make the system. Right? We can make the system. Sorry, my brother, you wanted to say something? Quickly, can you project from there? Okay, you would, what's the name, sir? Okay, Egypt.
When we speak of things like that,
Okay.
not like a question. Are people subjected to system of rivers? I think systems are people are subjected to system, not system.
Okay, expansion, please.
Okay, for instance, if I want to win politics, and you say you need 10 million to buy governorship state, I can't really do anything. I have to pay 10 million naira to get the governorship state.
Yes.
So in that way, I'm being subjected to the system.
Okay.
But maybe when I get to power, I can change that thereabouts.
Yeah.
But I think first, people are subjected to systems.
Okay.
So I think that's where the whole thing becomes difficult because many times, even if you report these scenarios, like you said, this law enforcement agency even they to enforce this thing.
Okay.
Let's take for instance, I own a logistic company, and we're coming from went to deliver some very late at down video so there comes and happened that the road was bad, before we could get to the it was close to 10 km thereabouts. And boom, Nigerian police stopped us. Where are you coming from? That is screaming, that it's really heavily, there was too much hold up, the bike got spoiled, they get to cut on that bike. And after I explained, the man said he's taking me to the station. For what exactly? He said I'm not going to be driving the bike at this way. I agree, but I just explained what happened to you that there was too much traffic and the cop that I couldn't get to where I was going. And before we knew, he was already driving the bike to station. And if you get to station, you should get to station. You should spend nothing less than 5,000, 10,000 at most. Whether you be wrong or you be right. So this system is complicated. We needed to learn teach him which one that so that we can go. Okay. So in that case, who are you reporting? Okay. We didn't even take responsibility.
So in essence, I don't. You make is a man that makes the system. We say we are this is the best of system, but the system is like the chicken and the hen. So is it that? So is it a man that makes the system and the system makes the man? It's the high. All right. I got you right. I got you right. Okay, try. Okay. The mic. Okay. Okay. Sorry. Sorry.
Hi, my name is Lee.
Oh, sorry, the mic is not.
It's not.
So we are to
No, let's change. See.
the mic.
Okay. Hi, my name is Becky G. So I've been listening to what everyone has to say. The thing is, personally, first and also the problem is actually individual based. Now let's take this for instance.
There is this thing most of, I'll say, with us do. We believe that the elders are always right. Now, most persons who don't want to believe that and want to say, oh, you're not right, why don't you do it this way? They don't want to have this theory and say, okay, I think I'm wrong. Why don't we try it your way? They believe, oh, since I'm old, I've had experience, my way is the best for those persons who are grown-ups. And then you being a little one in quotes, trying to withstand them, this comes in, you are being disrespectful. So the culture comes in there because they tell you that in Africa, you must respect your elders. And what they believe to be respect is you listening to everything they have to say, even if it's right or wrong. Now let's place that as a particular place. Coming to what he said, I would say the system, it's vice versa, like you just said. The individuals make the system, and the system also makes the individuals. I like speaking from experience. Now, way back then, for those persons who stay in Benin, there was a time there was something trending. They called it the Univen 5. There were 5 members in the University of Benin SUG. What happened? The school system just woke up one day and they said that everybody needs to go home, vacate their hostels. Really? And it was already 3 in the afternoon. Some persons would have to go back to Lagos. That's not fair. How would they be able to do that? And you're telling them to leave with all their properties. Why? Because then they said that the government wanted to make use of the hostel dining in it. It's not possible. 5 students from the SUG stood their ground and said the students are not leaving the hostel. Now, guess what? Everyone said, oh, finally, we have people representing us. Let's support them. They stood their ground. They went as far as bringing the military down to chase students out. They refused. Do you know what they did? When the authority noticed that they were not able to break these 5 students, they left them. At the end of the day, they were rusticated. It took the grace of God. Now, what pained me then was, while they were very rusticated, the same individuals they were fighting for, we had the same person saying, now book this one and come into us. Why would I stand against the authority? Now, let me shock you. These 5 individuals, I would never forget their name. I did not want justice. You had another person called Good News, who was the then PRO. You had the SUG president, the speaker. They stood in front and students were shouting and saying, yes, these are representatives. But at the end of the day, they were rusticated. It took the grace of God, when they need the grace of God to bring them back. And you know how they came back? They had to bend to the will of those in power before they came back. Okay. Now that's why I said, I go with what he said. These are the individuals, they stood their ground, but the system worked against them. I'll give you another instance. Personally, while I was, and I studied agriculture before I left and I went into engineering. I came in my 100 level, understood the system, and I noticed that every faculty had their freshers welcome during their first semester. But faculty of agriculture, second semester, why? And before then, people are already tired and they're not even interested. Again, it seems that faculty of agriculture are, lagging behind and they're not doing the needful. I said, no, this should stop. I feel the director of social isn't doing good enough. And somehow, sometimes we're like, wow, you're in 5 months, you social, you this, that, why don't you go for the position? Then I took the mantle. I was elected. I was the winner, obviously, I became the director of socials. And then I noticed that there was a system involved. If our Senate doesn't sign, socials has nothing to say. No freshers welcome is holding. I have to go from one honorable member from his hostel to the other, and they will tell me then, guy, your budget will be by percentage for inside. And when you don't give them a percentage, they are not signing it in the honorable parliament. And that was when I noticed that the reason why the previous director of socials couldn't hold his own freshers welcome during the first semester was because of the same issue. I stood my ground, standing my ground, meeting with dean of students, meeting with this and that. At the end of the day, guess what, ladies and gentlemen? I have my own freshers welcome second semester to tell me, isn't that the system? Okay. And then we'll say, oh, president, once you're the president, you're the head, don't worry. Don't worry, you have the final say. Let me show you, ladies and gentlemen, we had a president then who wanted to make things happen. But then we noticed that there was a system. What happened in this system? We thought he had the final say, but again, we noticed that there are protocols you must observe. There are four signatories to the check. Then you had the staff advisor, the president, and the speaker. The president himself signing the check, the money isn't coming out. Speaker himself signing the check, the money isn't coming out. Out of four signatories, at least three signatories must be there. Now, because the order that Mr. President was trying to use the fund for the right thing, we all gave up against him and no one signs that check. This project was not executed. So why am I saying all this, ladies and gentlemen? It's because, yes, the individuals, we need to have this individual mindset to know that, yes, we need to make a change, but still, we need a group of individuals to make the system work. Because standing on your own, it's going to be very, very difficult.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Tress, you wanted to say, okay, before he comes here. So if I think sorry, just it was only so we agree that no matter how individualistic we are, there's a system to beat, and if you can't beat it, right? Let's hope that that idea will be real as we go on. But if a bigger idea conquers that idea, we go with it. That way, if somebody gives us a bigger idea and we feel we can do against the system, we go with it. All right.
I didn't know also about strength start and energy. Yes. And like you said, everybody has mentioned systems. I also want to believe that every ministry, every unit, every department, they have their objectives. They have a vision, they have something they're supposed to work with within a certain period, probably quarterly, half year, or yearly. I work in the financial sector. I've been there for 9 years. And you know, people like DressUp, since we speak some time and spoke about your history to the financial sector. We always have somebody who checks the system. We have auditors internally, but we also have external auditors internally who check how we run the branch, how you do businesses and all of that. They assign experts. Primarily before you see that everything. Okay. So why? Because we hold the responsibility to the organization. Okay. We every day we recite our vision to bring it back to the minds of everybody in the organization that this is what we're driving. Okay. So with that, you'll be able to build a certain culture, there's morals, there's a guideline of how you should live, how you should act, and what's expected of you. And if for any reason something comes up and it has to do with you probably compromise while it is that. So, let's see what happens in China. People do this. And we've seen situations where they will kill because they compromise the system. So the question is, who is auditing? Who is checking? Who are the internal auditors? Who are we contracting external auditors to check what is being done? Mind you, the president cannot do everything. All he can do is to oversee what's happening. But to be frank with you, for things to work, like take Dubai for instance. When you see the minister of the minister doesn't understand because it gives you numbers, it tells you the projection, it provides an analysis of what is expected and how it's supposed to be done. But you have people in position of power who can actually speak like these guys. See that this guy, the former governor of the spoke about how stupid those who represent nonsense and who use it. Okay. So, like I said, so the effect change. It starts with if we're going to use the system, we have to get audit, proper audit to checkmate what each person is doing. Minister, what have we done? What have we achieved in 1 month? People you work with, commissioners, what have you done? What have you achieved? Loans that we are taking, how is it implemented? Where is it? Minutes not to ask any question. And it's so unfortunate that because of they want to frustrate everybody, they tend to make a simple office look so cumbersome.
So many things like even when you come in, you don't even understand what's happening there. You understand? So we have to try and see how we can make a change within, and if there's going to be a system, we need to check with ourselves, we need to check with this, we need to create a system where we can check with both internally and externally.
Don't worry, we'll get to everybody. We'll get to everybody. And so I decided to be out more of this. And these guys' conversations there, thank God that guys spoke. The truth is, the system always tries to also down that tries to fight the system. And the very easiest thing to do is to chicken out and say, since I can't do this, that's what we do. Check history. The people that were not talking about, people like Nelson Mandela and the likes, are people who fought the system fought back, and they had to pay the price. I particularly posted on the talk when we were talking, because I've had an experience where this officer stopped me, checked my vehicle license, particulars, and it was expired. And they said I should tip them and go, and I said no, because actually I told myself my vehicle has before they expire. At this time I forgot. I followed them to the police station. I drove, I parked them, I left. That's a sacrifice for you to prove to them that you're taking it. I went to do my documents, I came back, and I took my vehicle. So one of them would not say I took up a small seat, but the mind said that I gave my vehicle just for me. Because I always tell people everywhere I go, I have a daughter in a school where a lot of protocols are there to go to see your daughter where you're not supposed to come and all of that. There was a day I came, the security man said, you can't come today now, do the needful. I said, don't ask. Let me do it as an association. If I do that, you will be happy. I will be happy. Yeah. But when you force me, you are happy, I'm happy, but I feel like you are changing me. That guy has become my friend. Every time I come to that, you will now be telling everybody, no, don't ask me. Let me do it by myself. So the truth is, to fight the system fights back. You about the told when the champions try to fight anti-corruption, you saw how you went there. Check everybody that have led years. Check out their record. Because our system is deep in corruption. And the truth is, you can't take away what Sakia let us say. What a lot of us have said, the solution will come back to the individual. For every system that you take deeply rooted in corruption, there is somebody, as he said, who audits. There is somebody who the person asking you for grant is afraid of. So sometimes when it seems not to calm down, there was a day my people drove my vehicle and policemen stopped them and said, I told them, I said, everything about the documents is in that way. The tinted permit, the medical report, everything is there. My own staff driving the vehicle says I cannot see it. So since he said they can't see it, I said, okay, give me phone to the police. I said, tell me the police station that he said, when you find us, I said, I'm not finding you anything. The Inspector General of Police said, tinted permit is no longer permitted. Existing one should be allowed to go. So take them to the police station. I'll come and meet you there. Do you know that you should not carry them? There was another day they stopped one of my other vehicles. They said, it's tinted. This time around, I know the shoe tinted permit again. I called, they called me, I said, I'm glad my staff had caught my own spirit. He said, sir, I just want to notify you, I'm not watching or following the police station. I said, tell me the station that will come and meet you. Right there and there, I was with a friend. The guy was, I think he had the screenshots of that instruction from the general. He sent it to me, I forwarded it to them. Not up to 10 minutes, they called me back. He said they took them to their station, they drove past. I said, thank us.
So the system that is corrupt is individuals that are corrupting it. The system itself has its checks and balances. Just few of us who can question the system. And sometimes you may not always win. When you don't win, your fingers should be. But I do some of these things I get to my wife and say, oh, the same 500, you do not see to the old man in next day, what you are doing in the first day. But I can say it here now because that connects with my real person. So the idea here is the system will not be changed in one day. But if you change, I change, everybody trying to drive the negative part of the system is encountering none of us. We begin to say, actually, it's not the work. Okay. You understand? I think that's the way I believe that we all can contribute to change.
All right. So sorry, can we speak louder? Someone, the people online saying
Okay, people online saying
yeah.
People the mic is connected. Okay, all right, noted. Guys online. Is there any line else?
Yes, there's no one.
The mic is not on.
No,
The mic is not on.
okay, the mic is on this. Okay, the mic is it's not the prevailing thought in the house now, guys, is the system bigger than the individual? Are we at the mercy of the system? I belong to the camp of individuals. That individuals can puncture the system, questioning the system, rebelling righteously against the system. That's the prevailing thought. Let's see how it goes.
I disagree. Okay. I disagree totally. Some things in life, some things are important. You must agree that some things are more important than others. Okay. A system involves a lot of people working towards a directed goal. There is no way one person can override a functional system. I'll give you a real life. All of them are important, but systems deliver perfectly 100 times more than any Superman. There's a player called Diego Maradona. One of the reasons he was respected was because he was a magician when it comes to football. He played with average players, and he became Superman. That's why he was respected. And then he played with Napoli. They won the Champions League. He's a Superman, but he comes once in every 1,000 generations. Okay. You don't see Diego Maradona as every time. Superman like that play with average players and everything comes. He's a super great person. But systems, if you check those days, Baka was celebrated. The reason why it was not a big Baka was because it was impregnable. All of them were great. They were not great Supermen, but when you play together, you like the tic-tac that they play. That's a system, and that's a system. No matter how powerful Diego Maradona was, if it's in the opposing team playing such a Baka team, you lose this. Because these average players working systematically towards the goal, if they come together in a smart organization, they tend to outperform the most talented Superman. So that's why I said, if you want to solve the problem of a country, don't look at it from an individual perspective. We must understand it's a country. A country, once you are talking about a country, a company, a country, stop emphasizing individuals. Then look at the problem always from a system perspective. You know why? This whole thing that you are seeing here, it's not individuals. This thing that you are seeing, as individuals, we have different lives. Why are we here? Let me tell you what we are here. We don't treat it as something that we got right and because it's a system. This is no longer individuals. Let me tell you. It has a name, I mean, DressUp. It has happened before. The system has rules on which it operates. I gave up what I was doing to be here. You gave up what you were doing to be here. You have different systems happening. The reason why we are here is not because we are Superman. It's because there's an organization, a template that needs to operate. The success of this event is not the success of any particular individual. It's the success of the whole system. Same thing with the country. If you check the banking sector, look at banking workers. It's a small country inside the country. But they don't complain like the way Nigerians complain outside. That's the banking, just a sector. Because it's run by intelligent people who put rules, like my friend said, and then we work together. It's not perfect. But bankers, the ecosystem of banking, they don't just complain like
People don't just complain about factories, not something. That's organized. That's number one. Then look at education, for instance. Our education system compared to our banking system. You see that because our banking system is run by smart professional people compared to the education system, our banking system is perform better in terms of delivering value than education. Because they are professionals. So like I said, to solve the problem, this is what they need to do. You know Martin Luther in America. That's what Martin Luther can run and fool people using his personality and solve one problem. Okay. And then the fact that for 65 years we don't see another Martin Luther. There's one that solved one problem, only one problem. And it just only created a conversation without continuing to many years later, 60 years later, there's no Martin Luther again. It takes another 300 years to see another person like that. We cannot be building our life on people like that. That's why I said we need to balance it. First, to solve the difference between human beings and systems, we must check for critical mass. Not everything is important. For example, if you carry 3 educated and you surround them with 100 uneducated people, so in this 100 uneducated people, because it's a democratic system, we kill the 3 educated people in their ideology. The reason why Nigeria refuses to move forward, there are a lot of uneducated people who do not understand what it means to live in a civilized society. We don't have a critical mass of brilliance to push this country. We don't have it. We don't say critical mass. We have individuals. I just say, if Bishop Oyedepo, let me tell you what a super intelligent man. One pastor running a church decided to build a church, a facility that can take 100,000 people. For him, there was nothing like that. One man is attempting to do 3 universities. One man, I tell you what super intelligent as well. Right? Then that same one man last year, I'm going to do 10,000 churches. Those are big dreams to tell you the power of leadership. Dangote is building a refinery, the goal of Nigeria, because this country is not smart. The country is a lot of ignorant people in this country. But Dangote, one brilliant man who knows how to network with people, is building a refinery, 650,000 barrels. The whole of Nigeria in 50 years, the capacity we be able to build was 400,000 barrels. The whole of Nigeria has 4 refineries, 400,000 barrels. Dangote, one man inside Nigeria, that's Superman, is building 650,000 barrels using his own system. Are you getting it? Yes. Imagine if somebody like Dangote is the president of the country. Imagine Pastor Chris. Imagine the system it takes to run a church of that size, with 30,000 branches worldwide, spanning several continents. Make that man president. You understand? He will surround himself with the brightest human beings. Let me tell you, no great thing ever happens with dollars. No great thing. I've said it. But we need that one person first. That person must not be a Superman. He must be a person who is able to develop a system. That system, because only he cannot do it. That he will come. We need a person, somebody who will personality. That's why we need. Yes, that person. It's not the person that will do it. No, the person will spark the fire. You know, it's like it's just like one person who spark the fire and make it empty. We need one person. That one person is not going to happen in your house. The person will be in leadership. The president and me are not the same in relevance. We are getting it now. If like what Jessica said, if I'm able not to drive the police car, it doesn't have any significance compared to when the president refused to be corrupt. If the president is going on traffic and then he stops and stays on traffic and the camera catches the president from traffic, the power of that is 1 million times if I do it. But the president is an individual. He's not an individual again. He's an individual. The moment he does it as president, he's an individual. If the president stays in traffic and then people are trying to do something, they want to participate, people will participate. Yeah. And that thing has power, like what call it amplification. If Bishop Oyedepo says Nigeria is a failed country, and I say it on my Facebook page, they are different. If I say Nigeria is a failed country, my friends will say shut up. Oyedepo says you sit in court, you will sit on edge. You know why you sit in court? Oyedepo is not Oyedepo again. It's a system. That is what you are saying. Not let me try to help you see. He left into accept 5 years ago. So when he talks, his talk is amplified by the system that is being controlled. So when he says Nigeria has failed, people, the person will have to pay attention. If I say something, nobody will, because I'm too small, we will relevant to the system. So, like I said, it takes some time. But what we need these people. Like I said, yeah. Personally, let me do that. I will never vote if Buhari as president. No, I will never. I will not. I do not think Buhari has the intelligence that I have. Forget it. No sense. Forget I was a military man. All those things. If a person who is not intelligent is talking to you, your intelligence level, you can measure it with somebody else. No matter how successful you are, I talk for 30 minutes. I can match my brain power with yours and say this one I cannot power with you, no matter how. But guess what? I bow to the president because 90 million Nigerians system backs him. And so a person who managed to pass by, who has not run any successful company, who has not done something great, becomes my president. And then you see what the system can do.
educated, and that should be our core focus. Get people to say, and those who need the extra support to become economically independent, that should be the second form. After giving them, empower them. I'm not going to empower them in terms of giving funds. Lead them to opportunities because you know they share the same values with you, and give them whatever support they need, not monetary support. Okay. We leave it at that. Then naturally, what we need to do come forward. Because if we make you say, oh, it's becoming political, people will hijack the process. Let me be organic, this is what we want to do, this is what we become, and this is what we are doing. I don't like discussing, we'll discuss the spoke about economics. Because on what I do, whatever body will fall, if we don't have an economic powerhouse somehow, it will not fly. So, I like ourselves to look for people that believe in the vision, whatever we want. Okay. I just want to realize that. Yeah, please, let's be clear. While you're seeking for people to fund whatever you must be running first. Yes, that's right. Okay, so that we don't get stuck because somebody is funding. Good point. Good point. You push it. Good point. All right. Okay. Please stand.
I'm quite serious because when I was given the link to register for this, I didn't know it was this intense. The name is Christopher Friday. Yeah, okay. I always say to my cousin is that the problem of Nigeria is actually ethnicity and mismanagement of funds. So I found out that, let's go back to the origin of Nigeria. The British actually call it ethnicity and mismanagement of funds. So the British wanted an easy administration. So they had to amalgamate the South and the North and the Southwest in order for easy administration. So if we check, the Norths are easily brainwashed. Sorry to use that word. So if we want to focus our attention, we should focus on the North because they have a great role to play in this whole political process because they are more. They are more. So we have to focus.
So we should proselyte them, combat them. If we start whatever we're doing, we should.
Yes, and we should add them into the system. We should add them into the system because I can say majority of us are from either south or east or west. It's few of us that are from north here.
And naturally, few northerners living means naturally.
So we should involve them in this political process and have to teach them the process, educate them, for them to be among the people that will bring ideas. Because we can use them as a point of contact to reach them that way. Like there's this aboki at where I stay. I used to fix my shoe there. So I was like, Alpha, I do now. We're just interacting, we're discussing. We should love them. If they're around us, we should love them and talk to them. It's not about Christianity, about religion. We should talk to them as personal. We should love them and talk to them. That's my contribution.
Nice contribution. So that whatever we're doing, we're going to be shifting it. Naturally, even church, when church starts, it goes everywhere. It's much more. So last, we'll get to all those places. Good point. Thank you very much. All right, Mike.
All right. Okay, so building on what he said, the Northerners have always had a thinking pattern. When Nigeria was amalgamated, they believed to date that country was handed over to them. True. The political will of Nigeria is there. The economic administration is for the East, and the intellectual categories for those that in the West. Now, he said something very vital. I know Northerners, I know them. Why is this not like this? I know Northerners that from infancy, they have been groomed and they are telling them you come to this particular place. That guy just 6 years old. All right. So he eventually grows to become 30, 45. And he knows he will become their age. He has been waiting for that day right from infancy. So while we are creating a body, as well, for want of better words, who would house these people these thought leaders that are going to engage in questions and interactions, let's have persons that will go as least into an already existing system to infiltrate and cause
that change. So we have persons that have a value system that is shared by everyone. We send them inside as the foxes, but not to spoil the vine inside. As the wolf in sheep clothing, or the sheep in wolf clothing. We send them into these places, knowing fully well that they have our support. Now, I can count 5 politicians for me that went into politics with pure good intentions. When they got into that place, and they saw a very porous system, you have 2 options at that point. Would I leave or somewhere? Now, how would you leave? You know what it means to leave? You know what you need to enter. You enter a system. Thank you. You enter a system where you are now used to police escort everywhere. You enter a system where, and I know that every governor to date, every former governor to receive. Yes, every president still receives allowance and salary. They have a governor is actually a house, a car. Same with the president. Even with police escort. Today, so imagine a former governor who is now a senator. He has 2 streams. Now you can't tell him that he should leave that place. He should create a policy that would change this lifestyle that is changing. He won't do that. He won't. So what we can do now, the issue of the LGBTQ and everything, when they began, they had someone who they sent into the House of Congress as a young child. It took him 20 to 30 years. Eventually, when he got too powerful and he began to lobby people's votes and say, I want to talk. But when he first had that desire for better world, he was shut down by his family. So he went into government, didn't say anything, and for 30 years, he was building his reputation capital. He was building it. And when he got to the peak of his career, now it is a law that are being forced down to us. So if that system, if that method work for them, I don't see why it can't work for us. One majority of the times we are overly overt in our approach to things. You see them in the mosque. When they enter there, oh God, you don't want to know what they tell you. You don't want to know what they tell them. The thing in the whole place of having prayer, only 5 minutes is the main thing. Every other thing is strategy. Everything they are doing there is strategy. So we just go into a place without fully understanding what is at stake. Who are the stakeholders in this place? Before you go to topple the system, you have to spend time to find how that system runs. And when we eventually know how the system runs, that person that will send inside there can be inside that political party for 10 years and won't do anything. But he just knows who are the stakeholders. He knows who has the data. Those who are ready like Richard Temple and rules of war. You'll be surprised that the person that has the power to make a vote is the party chairman's driver. He's his driver. Now you don't know. You think he's the party chairman. He's his driver. He's the barber that comes to support his head. That's the person he listens to. That's the one he will. You know why he believes that person? Because he believes that person has an unbiased opinion. That one has no stake in it. He knows you have a stake. He knows you have a stake. They won't listen to him. But when he sees that barber that comes once in 2 weeks, he says this one doesn't have anything. It is true. Yes. So imagine if you were not the barber. Mind you, the person I was cutting Obama said was the same barber that was cutting when he was the senator. Yes. But this time we was empty because of the man cut. Yes. So can we have a collective of people that were sending into the House of Assembly? There's no fight to become the leader. Just stay. Do you know that for every member of the House of Assembly, they have people that they employ? That's why government is expensive to run. Yes. Because when you get there, everybody's not looking. I told you, people are not getting your door. How can it work? You know, one person comes and invests in, but you know how government is. Once you employ, you cannot leave. So for every new person that comes, you have new persons you have employed. So cost of governance is at the overhead. So can we have persons that will send in for 10, 15 years? This thing was saying, some of us, long time. Some of us might not be in this country to enjoy it. Some of us might not be alive to enjoy it. That's we should be ready to go to that length. Yeah. Can you ready to stay and say, even if I don't see this thing in 50 years, but let me that I'm raising this one child. This one child that when I look gets there. The advice president of Apple kept quiet about his sexuality to lose the president. Yeah. Thank you, God.
Nice one. So to save time, we will bring there's a table that will be brought here. I don't know how we'll just the refreshment. So I will just be doing everything. You will come to the table, take your coffee, whatever small thing we have, and we will just round up as we do the drinking and whatever we can do. So I will just tie up everything.
Can we quickly just quickly WhatsApp?
There's a WhatsApp group already. So both of you coming for the first time, we have someone sitting here too. The whole time. I'm sorry, that's we will bring everyone who has attended for the first time now. We will be brought to the WhatsApp group. It's been there since 2018. Yeah. It's been this thing not start today, bros. You know now, you know the story.
I don't really say this. I want to tell you, we know why they are doing them. Nigeria is savable. Yes. There are two things that I'm going to do. Yes. We must know that, first of all, Southern Nigeria, they are the problem of Nigeria. Southern Nigeria, South, they are the problem. You know, I was saying, if you give Biafra that country, give them 10 years. Don't start with
I agree. 10 years.
Yes. Yes. See, one thing about Nigeria is that we know too much. We know too much. You know, I've lived in Kaduna for 2 years. I've been up there for 2 years. And I did that thing. I've looked like very, very sweet. Just give the guy a shot. Tomorrow we'll run you. That child, don't finish. But you will see a Benin guy now, you will quit this guy for 2 years. On the day of voting, you will vote for another person. You know, it's very terrible. But I'm not clear example now, I work with the Ministry of Science and Technology, right? We are facing this problem of tribe and everything, even in those states, whereby somebody in the circle will say, no, you're not, you need to go in. I want to from my society. You know, I've been in the ministry for over 3 years now, and we've been fighting. Just like because it's not private that our family says, you know, we've been fighting just to cause a change in the ministry. People will say, I'm Esther. No. You say, some say, I'm Megara. Some say, I'm like, inside this small Edo state. If you're not going to possible state now that has, like, each woman is different channel, how do you go? But you see, no, I was even shocked that not have different tribes. Yes, but you will never know. Yes, you will never know. You will never know. Kaduna, they have over 40 tribes. Over 40. But you will never know. You will never. They all speak outside. They all follow one voice. Oh, you say just say now. They don't come. No. Go to Mondo. They will say they still Yoruba. Yes. You say this Yoruba is general Yoruba. This one is this one. I'm like, how can we not see change? 2 ways. You have split the country, which they will not even put the northern scholars to do. Because first of all, you need the majority votes in the House of Representatives, which they already have. They have more than you. So let me call them. Because you know them. Now, look at the issue of oil now. The oil that goes from the south is enriching them. Now, this is a shocking news. Like, that's a refinery. That cannot work. Because Dangote lobbying the House of Representatives to sign it that he's the only one that can do anything refinery in Nigeria. Which obviously they don't know until he has finished the refinery. None of that is dead. Cannot work ever. Cannot. Even this power that somebody is doing now, be this that fighting it. Very soon they will close that thing down.
No, do you know there's a law, 65%, 65 megawatts. If you produce more than 65 megawatts, you have to take it to the national grid. Then you're not giving that to you. Yes. That's why this one. What was the is 55?
Yeah, reducing
we knew, so he made it less than 65. That's why we can access in the state. Yes. Anyone may build this one as well. It's going to the national grid.
So I think that to work on mindset. Yes. Tell the southern youth that see we are all southern as a bed, they're all Nigerians. Stop this Benin person stuff. Stop this crap. My director tomorrow now is it's causing one like this ministry because it's not a Benin person and he's angry that he's pushing the narrative. The governor brought in 100 million just last month to develop something in Ghana. And guess what? The PS has scattered that thing now because in his comment, this one from Benin. Say, no, it's not. No. So the issue with Nigeria is it gives me length. So first of all, Southern Nigeria needs work. We need to first of all go into the universities. In fact, primary school. Primary school. Start teaching them that see, you are a Nigerian. You are something. I'm not American. There's nothing like I'm American. I'm American. You know, I united. Yes, united. That's not what is there. And this is not united. Even already though he's not united. But I'm more. All right. So please, back to the grassroots. Thank you.
All right. So we will start with Matthew. Let's just start taking. So we can organize this one.
The reason is because of
all right. We will take. So we will start taking something from here. I'm just looking for the people organizing that. All right, let them bring the water, whatever they need to get them. So we'll just be taking something as we round up. Let me quickly ask a question. As we start this organization, this movement, whatever we want to call it, if you at any point japa, does it mean you are bailing out on the nation building agenda?
Can I just say?
Okay, japa means you travel, you relocate temporarily or permanently. Because whether we like it or not, it's a reality. Even I wanted to keep you quiet, keep you hidden. So we are many that happen. But the point is, does it stop whatever we are building?
If you have done a review on the state, the formation of the state of Israel, you find that it started as a political movement. Yes, it started as a movement, and they focused on key issues. They made sure that every Jewish person was involved in politics, and they put a subtle law, something like a culture. There's no Jewish family in the whole of US that is not educated. There's no Jewish family. Once you're a Jew and you cannot pay for college, you just approach them, they fund it. They made sure that every Jew went to school, and they made sure that they became the best of the best, the scientists, the politicians, they positioned them. So when it was time for them to talk about, instead of buying up a piece of land and began to expand, buy up until everything became a parcel that they could call a country. Now, but they couldn't even buy it up until those they raised had gotten into the economy and are taking strategic positions. Yes. So when you talk about $10 million, someone will say, I'll give 20. They had all the monies they needed to fund it. And that's why I said this thing will run on two fronts. As we may not have all the money yet, but we can, social media will amplify our voices. Yes. But the most important of everything we need to stand for what we believe. It must reflect in our lives. Let not said that anybody here, they saw you outside and you did some shady things. That's the first thing. Once that happens, because people are watching you. If you say, I believe in this, they want to see it. Yes. So we need to do that and focus on education. So wherever you go, you find yourself in Canada, you remember that you are part of the movement. And even if you cannot say something, you can always fund this process. Individually, it must not be a central funding kind of arrangement. You could take up a project on your own and drive the ideal of this movement within your space. So I think anybody that is interested in leaving the country, you can you're not living the system. The movement is a system on its own. Because you need to have a system to circumvent another system. So we're creating a system and we're focusing on two things: education, mass education. Not the kind of formal education we have, just enlightenment. We do that at every level to the informal sector, to the formal sector, to the educated, to the uneducated. And the second is
economic power. Now, we must try to empower people the way we can. If we say we want to do it as a group, might be difficult. But in your space, empower, then report back to the movement that I'm doing this, I have done X, Y, Z. So we know some other guys can come up. I want to support it, I cannot do it, let me fund that process we are going. But let me escalate what you are doing. That should be the objective. Then finally, let us begin to position our members at critical points across our economic life as a nation. Because one day we will need them. We will need them. Just a word, just a little push here and there. Before you know, we have formed that critical mass. It will happen organically.
Yeah.
Let's just listen to this. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your contribution. So we will just end with a little refreshment. When we take one or two shots, every other discussion can happen informally. And please, can I announce to every one of us that participated in today's meeting, you are already a member of the organization. And everybody has been partaking in DressUp from inception. You are a member of this organization. So when we send you mail or whatever, don't say, oh, I don't know when I signed it. All right, thank you very much. Thank you. You are part of this group. So it means we best watch ourselves, by the way. That's what it means, though. So if your belief system is not aligning, as a member of this, we go best start with you. We best watch ourselves now. We cannot go and evangelize when we ourselves don't have the same belief system. Thank you very much, guys, for your time. We run this up and we are trying to cure this. Yes, now. We'll talk.
I'm see you.
In my mind, I said the picture at the beginning. Oh, thank you. You said it before. No, it's not finance. I mean, just not like this. It's money. Money will run it. Money will run it. That's why one of the vision from Thank you guys. Thank you everyone. It's very fine.
My guy,
You start for daytime.
translate our history and start for that.
Petty boy.
Let's think about